Imagine waking up just 7 days from now and looking in the mirror, seeing a version of yourself that feels completely different. Not because of some overnight miracle, but because you made clear, focused choices every single day. This video is about taking control and making real changes fast. Changes that show up in how you feel, how you act, and how people see you. It's not about luck or waiting for the perfect moment. It's about doing simple but powerful actions that anyone can start today. Stick around and discover how to reshape your habits, mindset, and daily routine so that 1 week from now, you become unrecognizable in the best way possible. Let's get started. Number 1, wake up early and start your day with intention. Most people wake up just in time to rush. They wake up when they feel like it, when they can no longer delay the day. They don't rise with a plan. They just wake up to survive another day. That's how people drift. But if you want to change, really change, and become unrecognizable in just 1 week, the first step is taking control of your mornings. Waking up early is a statement. It says you're no longer driven by how you feel. You're driven by what you've decided. It's the difference between living intentionally and just existing. When the alarm goes off, it's not about whether you're tired or not. It's about whether you're serious about where you're going. Now the time matters. Don't wait for 8 o'clock. Don't wait for the sun. You've got to beat the day. Get up at 5 or 6. Get up before the world starts demanding your attention. Those early hours, they're yours. They belong to you. No one is texting. No one is emailing. It's quiet. You can think. You can feel. You can prepare. That's your moment to build something inside yourself before the world tries to pull it apart. You don't need to make it fancy. Just start by getting up and not wasting the first hour. That first hour will either set you up or hold you back. What you do with it will echo for the rest of your day. And if you string together 7 of those mornings, each one intentional, each one sharp, you'll start to see a version of yourself you didn't know was possible. When you wake up early and act on purpose, you begin the day in control. Not reacting, not chasing, but choosing. Choosing what matters. Choosing where your energy goes. Choosing what kind of person you want to be today. People will ask, how does this make a difference? It's just a morning. But the difference is this. Most people have no order to their life. They wake up late. They check their phone. They scroll. They hit snooze. And they wonder why they always feel behind. You can't feel ahead when you start behind. When you wake up early, you've already made your first decision. And it's a win. That one win leads to another. You get up early. Now you have time to stretch. You have time to eat right. You have time to think clearly. You're not rushing. You're calm. And when the rest of the world is trying to catch up, you're already 2 steps ahead. You might feel tired at first. That's natural. Your body is adjusting. You've trained it to sleep in. But now you're training it to rise, and it will fight you. But after a few days, your body catches up to your decision, and you'll start to feel it. The sharpness, the clarity, the pride that comes from doing what you said you'd do. You don't need motivation. You need a reason. Why are you waking up early? Why are you changing? What are you building? Don't just do it to say you did. Do it because there's something about the old version of you that you're ready to leave behind. And what does intention mean? It means you're not waking up to go through the motions. You're waking up with a direction. You've already decided what matters today. You've already decided what needs to be done. And that removes all the noise. That removes confusion. You don't waste energy deciding what to do next. You already know. That's the power of starting your day this way. You're not letting the day decide who you'll be. You're deciding in advance. And when you do that 7 days in a row, you start building something real, something solid inside yourself. You start believing in yourself because you're not breaking promises. You're not making excuses. You're not drifting. You're building every morning, one decision at a time. You're building a foundation that can hold up the new version of you. And here's something to think about. The way you spend the first hour of your day says more about your future than anything else. If you give that time to distractions, to laziness, to mindless activity, then that's the direction your life is going. But if you use it to move, to think, to act with purpose, your life will begin to reflect that. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to be intentional. You won't feel amazing every day. You won't always feel motivated. But that's not the point. The point is to build discipline. The point is to take control. Because the more you do that, the more confidence you'll feel. Not just in the morning, but in every area of your life. You'll start walking differently, talking differently, thinking differently, because you're proving to yourself that you can change. And once you prove that to yourself, the possibilities open up. You become someone people barely recognize. Not because you look different, but because your energy is different. You're not tired. You're not dragging. You're not confused. You're focused. You're clear. You're in motion. And that's what this week is about. It's not about changing everything overnight. It's about stacking one strong decision on top of another. You start by waking up early. And you keep going. You don't stop. You show up again the next day. And the next. Until it becomes who you are. That's how you become unrecognizable. Not by talking. Not by hoping. But by doing. Starting with the morning. Starting with that alarm. And not hitting snooze. You rise. You take control. You step forward. That's how it begins. Number 2. Follow a clean diet with zero processed food. You cannot become unrecognizable in 1 week if you're feeding your body the same way you've always done. Food is not just fuel, it's discipline. It's clarity. It's commitment. What you put into your body directly affects how you think, how you feel, how you move, and how much control you have over your decisions. And for the next 7 days, you need control more than ever. That starts with what you eat. Cutting out processed food isn't about being perfect. It's about getting serious. You want real change? Then eat real food. Not from boxes. Not from packages. Not from the microwave. From the ground. From the market. From your kitchen. If your food has a long list of ingredients, you've already gone too far. Keep it simple. Keep it clean. Vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, whole grains, nuts, seeds, water, nothing else. No sugar, no oils you can't name, no snacks you reach for out of boredom. Most people treat their body like a trash bin. They eat based on impulse. They eat when they're sad, when they're tired, when they're bored. But in this week, you're not acting on feelings anymore. You're acting on intention. That means no more drive-through, no more soda, no more packaged meals with plastic lids. It's time to pay attention to what you're putting inside your body. Because what goes in is going to show up in how you think, how you look, how you function. You want mental clarity? Stop eating junk. You want better sleep? Cut the sugar. You want energy that lasts all day? Stop feeding your body things it has to fight to digest. The cleaner your food, the cleaner your thoughts. And when your body isn't working overtime trying to process chemicals, preservatives, and sugars, it can finally give you back that energy. You won't need 5 cups of coffee to get through the afternoon. You'll feel sharper, more alive. You'll start noticing the difference within days. This isn't about following a trendy plan. It's not about macros, or points, or some complicated formula. It's about removing what doesn't belong. It's about choosing what serves your body. You don't need variety right now. You need structure. You need discipline. You need to simplify. And the simpler the food, the easier it is to stay consistent. When you eat clean, something else happens. You begin to trust yourself again. You're not giving in to cravings. You're not eating out of habit. You're deciding. Every meal becomes an act of self-respect. You're no longer treating food as comfort. You're using it to build, to heal, to sharpen. Every time you eat clean, you prove to yourself that you're capable of doing hard things. And that's the point. Not just to change how you look, to change how you live. Now, people around you might not understand. They'll offer you snacks, fast food, energy drink. They'll ask why you're being so strict. But they don't know what you're working on. You're not doing this for them. You're doing this because you're done pretending that what you eat doesn't matter. You're done numbing your potential with sugar and sodium. You've decided to see what happens when you give your body the respect it deserves. And when you do, your energy changes. Your presence changes. People will feel it before they even understand it. You also remove the decision fatigue. When you eat whatever is available, you're constantly deciding, should I have this or that? Should I cheat or stay on track? But when the rule is clear, no processed food, the decisions are already made. There's no argument, no hesitation. That clarity builds momentum. You save your willpower for things that actually need it. You stop wasting time justifying things you already know are holding you back. You need to treat this week like it matters, because it does. Every bite you take is either moving you forward or pulling you back. There's no neutral. There's no it's just one. That's how people stay stuck, making exceptions every time things get a little hard. You don't need exceptions right now. You need progress. You need 7 days of complete alignment between what you say you want and what you're actually doing. Now, this also means preparation. If you're not ready, you'll default to what's easy. That's how processed food sneaks back in. You didn't plan ahead. You didn't cook. You didn't bring something with you. Don't let that happen. Take time every night or every morning to set yourself up. Cook your meals. Pack them. Know exactly what you're going to eat. Don't leave it up to chance. Structure gives you power. It eliminates guesswork. It helps you stay consistent. When motivation fades, you will notice withdrawal at first. Your body is used to the sugar, the salt, the rush. It's going to ask for it. Not because you need it, but because you've trained your system to expect it. Now you're breaking that cycle, and it will resist. You'll feel irritated. You'll crave things you thought you were over. But this is part of the process. And if you stay disciplined for just a few days, those cravings lose their grip. You begin to take back control. And the way that feels, it's not just physical, it's mental freedom. You begin to move through your day without spikes and crashes. Your mood evens out. Your energy lasts. You sleep deeper. Your skin looks different. Your eyes look clearer. You stop bloating. Your body starts responding to your decisions. And all of that in just 1 week. This is the kind of shift that makes people stop and ask, what are you doing differently? And the answer is simple. You stopped treating your body like it didn't matter. You stopped feeding it garbage and expecting it to give you strength. You respected it, and it gave you back everything you've been missing. You don't need to explain it to anyone. You just need to commit. 7 days. No processed food. No excuses. Clean meals. Clean mind. Clean body. Clean effort. You'll feel it. You'll see it. And soon others will too. Not because you told them, but because you've changed. You're walking proof of what happens when discipline replaces comfort. You're becoming someone they won't even recognize. Number 3, exercise intensely. Every morning without missing a day. Change doesn't happen by thinking about it. It happens when you push your body beyond what's comfortable. Intense exercise every morning is one of the most direct ways to begin that process. Not because it changes your appearance overnight, but because it rewires the way you deal with resistance. Most people avoid discomfort. They wake up tired, and the last thing they want to do is move. That's why most people stay exactly where they are. But you're not like most people. You've made a decision. You're not waiting for energy. You're creating it. And you do that by demanding more from yourself. First thing in the morning. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need equipment. You need effort. You need your full focus. You need to push yourself hard enough that your body has no choice but to adapt. Because when you put yourself under pressure, You build something far more important than muscles. You build the ability to endure, to handle stress, to stay consistent when every part of you wants to quit, and that changes everything. Every morning, before anything else, your job is to face yourself, not halfway, not casually. You move your body like your life depends on it. You sweat. You breathe hard. You push to the edge of your limit. You get uncomfortable on purpose. Because it's in that moment, when your muscles are burning, when your heart is pounding, when your thoughts are telling you to stop, that you decide who you really are. This isn't just about getting fit. This is about becoming disciplined. It's about becoming someone who follows through, someone who doesn't need perfect conditions to act. You start the day by doing something difficult, and that sets the tone. You walk into every other task with strength, with energy, with sharpness, because you've already done what most won't do. You're training your mind. Every time you train your body, every rep, every set, every second you choose not to stop, is building more than endurance. It's building control. It's building self-respect. It's building a new standard for how you live. And the only way that standard holds is if you never skip. Not one day. Not because it's easy, but because you said you would. That commitment becomes your anchor. While others start the day with excuses, you start with action. While they're still waking up, you've already put in real work. That gives you an edge. That gives you momentum. You don't need to talk about it. It shows in how you carry yourself, in how you speak, in how you make decisions. Because the person who can show up to train when no one's watching, when they don't feel like it, when it's raining, when they're tired, that person can do anything. Some mornings will be harder than others. You'll wake up sore. You'll feel heavy. Your mind will look for a way out, but that's the moment that counts. That's where the growth is. Anyone can train when it's convenient. But the person who trains through resistance, who sweats through discomfort, who finishes the session even when they wanted to stop halfway, that person is becoming unshakable. It doesn't matter if you run, lift, jump, or use your own body weight. What matters is the intensity. You don't stroll through the workout. You give it everything. You move like it matters, because it does. You're not just burning calories. You're burning away weakness. You're breaking down everything soft and fragile so that something stronger can take its place. And you'll notice it, not just in how you look, but in how you feel. Your posture improves. Your pace changes. You walk with purpose. You sit up straighter. Your eyes show determination. You speak with more confidence. Because now you have proof. You faced the physical challenge. And you didn't back down. You've built strength that others can feel even before you speak. There's no shortcut to this. No one can do it for you. You have to earn every drop of sweat is a decision to keep going. Every time your arms shake or your legs burn and you push through it, you're creating something powerful inside. And over time, those small moments of effort build a version of you that looks nothing like the person you were a few days ago. You begin to think differently. You stop looking for comfort. You start chasing progress. You welcome the pain, because now you understand what it brings. You see that the hardest part of the day can become your favorite, because you're not running from effort anymore. You're using it to sharpen your mind, your character, your identity. People notice this shift. They can see that you're moving with urgency. You're not dragging through the day. You're attacking it. That intensity spills into everything else you do. How you work, how you focus, how you talk to others. And it all started because you trained your body first thing, before anything else had a chance to interfere. The mistake most people make is thinking they can change without pain. They want the results, but not the work. But the truth is simple. If you're not willing to get uncomfortable every single day, even for 30 or 40 minutes, you're not serious about change. The body doesn't respond to what's easy. It responds to what's demanded. And when you make those demands on yourself consistently, you stop being ordinary. You don't need motivation. You need structure. Set a time. Set the plan. Prepare your space. Know exactly what you're doing before you begin. No hesitation, no guesswork. Walk in and execute. Even if you have to go slow, go all in. Even if your body says stop, find one more rep. Because that last rep, that last second, is where the breakthrough begins. And when you do this 7 days in a row, something changes permanently. You no longer see yourself as someone who needs motivation. You see yourself as someone who shows up no matter what. That belief becomes your foundation, and it starts to shape every other part of your life. You wake up differently. You eat differently. You carry yourself differently. You start holding yourself to a higher standard, not because someone told you to, because you've proven to yourself what you're capable of when you stop negotiating with your limits. Number 4, turn off notifications and avoid useless phone scrolling. Your attention is your most valuable asset, and right now, it's being drained by distractions you've allowed into your life, without question. Every time your phone buzzes, your focus breaks. Every time you check for updates, you disconnect from what matters. You can't create something meaningful if your mind is being pulled in 100 different directions. To become unrecognizable, in 1 week, you need to reclaim control over what has been silently controlling you. Your screen. You wake up and check your phone before you even stand up. Before you've spoken a word, your mind is already filled with updates, messages, opinions, noise. You haven't even started your day, and already you're reacting to the world. That stops now. Because if you don't take control of your focus, someone else will. And they already are. These notifications are designed to take your time. The apps are built to keep you looking. That's not a coincidence. That's manipulation. And the longer you stay plugged into that loop, the harder it becomes to hear your own thoughts. Start by turning everything off. No banners, no pings, no vibrations. Go through every app and shut down notifications that don't serve your growth. You don't need to know when someone liked your photo. You don't need to be alerted about every post, story, or update. You don't need a screen to tell you what's important. You need silence. You need space. You need to live your day on your own terms, not on a screen's timeline. Now, this isn't about throwing away your phone. It's about changing how you use it. You can still use it for work, for learning, for meaningful communication. But that's the difference. Intention. You're not using it out of habit anymore. You're using it because there's a reason. And when there's no reason, you put it down. You walk away. You give your brain a break. The scrolling has to stop. The endless swiping, checking, refreshing, it's costing you more than you think. It's not just minutes. It's not just hours. It's your presence, your attention, your drive. That time you spent watching strangers live their lives could have been used building your own. But you didn't. And that's the cycle that keeps people stuck. Watching instead of acting. If you find yourself picking up your phone without knowing why, that's the sign. That's the habit you need to break. Because it's not boredom you're responding to. It's distraction, addiction. You've trained yourself to seek stimulation, and now you're going to train yourself to sit with focus again. No noise, no scrolling, just stillness. It'll feel uncomfortable at first. Your hand will reach for the phone out of muscle memory. But the more you resist, the more power you gain back. You want more time? Stop giving it away to digital nonsense. You want to feel clearer? Remove the mental clutter. You want real results? Then eliminate the things that make your mind weak, useless. Scrolling doesn't just waste time. It dulls your instincts. It chips away at your sense of urgency. You forget what you were working on. You lose track of your goals. All because you allowed your screen to set your priorities. Now imagine what happens when you stop. When the noise fades. When your phone isn't running your schedule. You begin to notice things again. You become more aware of your thoughts. You listen better. You focus deeper. You read longer. You start completing tasks that used to stay half done. You don't bounce between apps and tabs. You stay locked in. And that kind of focus is rare. That kind of presence stands out. Others won't understand right away. They'll still be glued to their screens, wondering why they feel so drained. They'll ask why you're not replying fast, why you missed the latest post or update. But you won't feel like you're missing anything. Because what you're gaining is far more valuable. You're gaining hours. You're gaining clarity. You're gaining the ability to live in real time. This habit changes your environment. You spend less time comparing, less time reacting, less time second-guessing yourself because of what others are doing. That comparison trap. It only thrives when you feed it with images and updates that don't matter. When you stop scrolling, you stop measuring yourself against things that are fake, edited, and meaningless. And when you do that, you start building confidence based on who you actually are, not who you're trying to look like. When your mind is no longer bombarded with constant updates, your thoughts become sharper. You start asking better questions. You start seeing opportunities you used to miss. You begin to use your phone as a tool instead of a trap. And that's where the shift happens. When you use technology instead of being used by it. Go one step further. Schedule phone-free hours. During your deep work. During meals. During time with people you care about. Put it in another room. Turn it face down. Create space where you can fully engage without interruption. You'll notice how much more you get done. How much calmer you feel. How much easier it is to stay disciplined. You don't need perfect discipline. You need consistent awareness. Start noticing when your fingers move without thought. Pause. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? What was I avoiding? What could I be doing instead? Those small questions break the automatic loop. They remind you that you have a choice. You might feel out of place at first. Everyone around you is plugged in, checking, posting, sharing. But you're choosing a different path now. You're choosing ownership of your time. You're choosing to protect your focus, like it matters. Because it does. Every notification you ignore is a win. Every scroll you avoid is momentum. You'll start stacking wins where you used to stack distractions. You'll get more done in one focused hour than most get done in an entire day. And not because you worked harder, but because you weren't pulled away by meaningless updates every 2 minutes. This is how you become unrecognizable in 1 week, not just by moving your body or eating clean, but by sharpening your focus, by cutting out the things that drain you without giving anything back. Your mind is not made to multitask 24/7. It's made to create, to solve, to reflect, to grow. And none of that happens while your thumb is stuck to a screen. You take back your time. You take back your focus. You take back your mental space. That's when everything starts to shift. That's when the outside starts catching up to the work you're doing, and that's when you stop chasing and start choosing. Number 5. Spend 1 hour daily learning a valuable skill. If you want to become unrecognizable in 1 week, you need to change how you use your time. One of the most powerful things you can do is commit a full hour every single day to learning a skill that actually matters, not something to impress people, not something to pass the time. A real skill that builds your value, strengthens your confidence, and makes you more capable than you were yesterday. Time is passing whether you use it well or not. Every hour spent on distractions is an hour you could have used to grow. You don't need to wait for the perfect opportunity. You don't need a fancy course or expensive setup. You need discipline. You need focus. You need to make the decision that 1 hour of each day belongs to progress. That hour is non-negotiable. It doesn't get canceled. It doesn't get pushed aside because you're tired. It's part of the standard now. Start simple. Choose one skill. Not 5. Not 10. 1. Maybe it's public speaking. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it's learning how to code, how to edit videos, how to market, how to negotiate. It could be communication. It could be strategy. It could be a technical skill, or it could be mental discipline. But it has to be something that adds to your capability, something that pays you back in the long term, something that makes your present stronger. People waste years trying to look smart when they could have spent months actually becoming valuable. And it starts with just one focused hour a day. You sit down with a notebook, with a book, with a video, with your full attention. You don't multitask. You don't check your phone. You treat that hour like training. Because it is. The real advantage in life comes from those who decide to sharpen their mind every single day. You can build a body in the gym, but it's your mind that will carry you further. And every new skill you learn becomes a tool in your belt. One day, you'll be in a room, and that 1 hour you spent learning for a week will separate you from the rest. That's not talent. That's preparation. The difference between people who grow fast and those who stay stuck is simple. They don't wait to be taught. They teach themselves. They don't ask for permission to improve. They go and find the information. They study. They apply. They ask questions. They take notes. They reflect. And they don't stop when it's hard. They go deeper. You don't need to master the skill in a week. You need to make progress every day. If you stay consistent, by the end of 7 days, you'll already know more than most people who never even started. And that knowledge builds self-respect. You start to see yourself differently, not just as someone trying to change, but as someone becoming more powerful, more prepared, more ready. There's something special about the hour you dedicate to learning. It's not just about the content. It's about the decision. The act of choosing to learn sends a message to yourself. I am not done growing. I am not finished improving. I still have levels to reach. That's how you break the habit of stagnation. By doing something that forces your brain to expand. The first few days might feel slow. You may not see the change right away. But stick with it. Because learning doesn't always feel exciting in the moment. It often feels quiet, boring even. But those are the moments that matter. That's where you separate from the crowd. When you choose progress over comfort. And that choice, repeated over time, makes you unstoppable. Every time you sit down to learn, do it with structure. Don't just read randomly. Don't just watch mindlessly. Go in with a plan. What are you trying to understand? What are you trying to improve? What can you apply immediately? Take notes by hand. Summarize what you've learned. Talk it out loud if you have to. Teach it to someone else. Make the skill real by using it. The real shift begins when learning becomes part of your identity. It's no longer a task. It's who you are now. You're the person who studies while others scroll. You're the one who adds value to yourself daily. And that changes how you walk into opportunities. You're not guessing anymore. You're not unsure. You've put in the work. And there's no limit to what you can build if you do this every day. 1 hour may not sound like much, but over a week, that's 7 hours. Over a month, it's 30. Over a year, it's 365 hours of focused improvement. That's how mastery begins. Not with one big leap, but with small, consistent effort, stacked day after day. And here's the truth. No one's going to remind you to do this. No one's going to push you to grow. That's your responsibility now. That's your job. If you want to be the one who stands out, who advances, who moves ahead, while others stay in place, then you've got to train your mind like it matters. Because it does. Your future depends on it. When you build this habit, it spills over into everything else. You become more curious. You ask better questions. You solve problems faster. You communicate more clearly. You don't get shaken easily. You see patterns where others see confusion. That's what 1 hour of deep learning every day gives you. It gives you an edge that can't be bought or faked. People around you will notice the difference. They'll hear it in your voice. They'll see it in how you carry yourself. They'll feel it in how you contribute. Because you're not reacting anymore. You're preparing. You're equipping yourself for something great. You're doing it consistently, quietly, seriously. You're not waiting for life to reward you. You're building the capacity to handle more. That's the mindset. You don't chase quick results. You focus on becoming the kind of person who deserves them. And that starts with a single decision: to give 1 hour of your day to growth, without compromise, without distraction, just real focus, real improvement, real skill. Number 6, write your goals and review them every night. Before the day ends and your body begins to rest, take a moment to reconnect with your direction. Write your goals. Don't just think about them. Don't rely on memory. Don't assume they're clear because you've repeated them in your head. Put them in front of you. Let your hand move across the page and make them real. There's a difference between a passing thought and a written goal. One fades, the other stays. One disappears under stress. The other brings you back when things feel uncertain. Writing your goals every night isn't about being obsessive. It's about being honest. You either want something or you don't. If it's important, then you won't mind repeating it. You won't be afraid to see it written down again and again. You'll want to revisit it, remind yourself, and make sure it's still true. Life moves quickly. Days pass in a blur. If you're not checking in with your goals regularly, they begin to drift. They lose shape. They lose urgency. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what am I aiming for? What matters right now? What is my next step? Grab a notebook, use a pen, make the process physical. Don't just type it. Make your mind slow down. Get intentional. Write what you want in clear words, short sentences, specific targets. Make it feel direct. You're not writing for someone else. You're writing to remind yourself where you're headed. Goals don't have to be huge. They have to be meaningful. They need to matter to you deeply. Personally, it could be finishing a project, hitting a fitness target, building discipline, growing income, learning something important, fixing a weakness, becoming better, and how you show up. Whatever it is, you write it. Not in future tense. Not in wishful tone. You write it like it's already in motion, like it's happening. Because every time you review it, your brain starts building a path to it. When you do this daily, you train yourself to think in terms of direction, not distraction. While others go to bed worrying about the next notification or regretting the day they wasted, you go to bed anchored to something that matters. You give your mind a clear picture to focus on while you rest. That shapes your mindset. It influences the way you wake up. It creates alignment between your actions and your outcomes. There's something powerful about reviewing your goals at night. It keeps you grounded. It pulls you away from the chaos. It allows you to reflect, not just on where you've been, but on where you still want to go. It builds clarity. It removes guesswork. When you do it consistently, you start to move differently. You start to see your time as limited and your focus as sacred. You stop drifting from one thing to another without intention. The habit of reviewing your goals at night also brings accountability. You start to measure progress. You start to notice the difference between motion and movement. You ask yourself, did I move closer or further today? What did I do that helped? What slowed me down? That kind of awareness builds strength. It forces you to adjust, to refine, to get sharper in your decisions. You don't need a fancy planner or structured template. You need a simple process, a quiet space, a few minutes of honesty. That's it. Keep your goals visible, not tucked away in a drawer, not hidden in a folder. Keep them where you see them every day, because visibility creates pressure, and pressure creates movement. The more often you see your goals, the more likely you are to act on them. Most people write their goals once a year and forget about them by the end of January. That's not how you win. You win by rewriting them again and again, until they're part of how you think, how you move, how you decide. You win by keeping them so fresh in your mind that every decision gets filtered through them. You ask yourself, does this help or hurt? Is this aligned or is this noise? You won't always feel motivated. You won't always feel energetic. But when you make this habit part of your night, you don't rely on feeling. You rely on commitment. That's what separates progress from procrastination. It's the daily check-in, the quiet moment, when you recommit, when you say to yourself, this is still my direction. This still matters. Don't just write goals. Review them. Think about them. Visualize them. Walk through the steps in your mind. Remind yourself why they matter. Remind yourself what happens if you ignore them. Let the review stir urgency inside you. Let it light a small fire before you sleep, one that burns through excuses and distractions the next day. This is about ownership. It's about taking control of your life instead of letting life happen to you. Writing your goals every night is not for people who are hoping things improve. It's for people who've decided they will improve. It's a decision to stop drifting and start directing. The more specific your goals are, the easier they are to follow. Don't just write write what success looks like to you. What does that actually mean? More income? Better habits? Stronger focus? Greater freedom? Break it down. Make it measurable. Give it a deadline. Give it structure. And review it relentlessly. Some nights, it will feel like nothing changed. You'll feel stuck, or tired, or unsure. But that's the point. You write anyway, because that discipline creates momentum, and that momentum breaks through resistance. You'll have nights when your goals feel distant. You'll have days that disappoint you, but the act of reviewing keeps the mission alive. It keeps your eyes on the long game. As you build this routine, something shifts in you. You start to live with direction. You start to notice patterns. You begin to act faster. You cut off things that don't serve the vision. You protect your time better. You don't chase temporary wins. You play for something bigger. You become clear about what you want, and more importantly, who you need to become to get there. This habit of nightly review doesn't just shape your goals. It sharpens your identity. It reminds you, every single day, that you are in charge, that you are responsible, that you're not waiting, that you're building, that your actions have weight, that your choices have consequences, that your life is a direct reflection of what you focus on daily. Number 7, eliminate all excuses and take full responsibility. Now, if your life isn't where you want it to be, you don't need more chances. You need more responsibility. Every time you give an excuse, you're handing your power to something outside of you. You're giving up control. You're saying it's not up to me, and that mindset will keep you stuck longer than any failure ever could. When you stop blaming other people, your past, or your circumstances, things begin to change. Not because life suddenly gets easier, but because you stop waiting for someone or something to fix it for you. You have to stop explaining away the gaps in your discipline, your consistency, your work ethic. You have to stop covering your weaknesses with stories about why it's harder for you. Everyone has a reason to quit. Everyone has obstacles. Everyone faces unfair moments. But those who get ahead don't use them as a shield. They use them as fuel. They refuse to let excuses shape their identity. They face the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is, because that's the only way to grow. Taking full responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that's gone wrong. It means owning what happens next. It means saying, maybe I didn't cause this, but I won't let it control me. That kind of thinking changes the way you approach your time, your decisions, your energy. It forces you to operate at a higher standard, one where you stop tolerating laziness, distractions, and wasted time. If you're still making excuses, you're not serious yet. You're still trying to make your comfort zone look like progress. You're still negotiating with the parts of you that want to stay the same. Real responsibility leaves no room for that. It's brutal at first. You start seeing how much time you've thrown away. You realize how long you've been waiting for perfect conditions, motivation, or approval. You look around and understand that no one's coming to push you forward. It's on you. That realization stings, but it also wakes you up. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be accountable. You need to be the kind of person who doesn't run from pressure. When things go wrong, don't look for someone to blame. Look for the lesson. Look for the decision you could have made differently. Ask yourself what you missed, what you avoided, what you postponed. Those answers are uncomfortable, but they're necessary. They help you improve. They show you where your growth is waiting. Responsibility sharpens your focus. When you stop making excuses, you stop tolerating wasted time. You look at every hour as a building block for your future. You don't scroll endlessly, waiting for the day to end. You use your time like it matters, because it does. You start waking up earlier, pushing harder, thinking deeper. You stop saying, "I'll try," and start saying, "I will." You stop waiting for easy paths and start creating your own. Most people blame. Few people build. Most people justify their delay. Few people face the truth about their habits. But you don't need to be most people. You can be different. You can be the one who says, even if it's hard, even if I'm behind, even if I feel overwhelmed, I'll take responsibility now. That choice separates you from the crowd. It makes you stronger. It develops mental toughness that can't be faked. It's easy to complain. It's easy to list reasons why things aren't working. But none of that moves you forward. Every second you spend explaining why you're stuck is a second you could spend breaking out. Excuses will give you short-term relief, but they'll rob you of long-term progress. Responsibility won't feel good at first. It'll feel heavy, but over time it frees you. Because once you know it's on you, you stop waiting. You start acting. Take inventory of your patterns. Where are you avoiding action? Where are you making the same decisions that lead to the same outcome? Where are you blaming traffic, time, people, or the past, instead of looking inward? Those are the areas where you need to step up. Not tomorrow. Now. Not next week. Now. If you keep delaying responsibility, you keep delaying result. You stay in the same loop. Frustrated, overwhelmed, unsure, even though the answer is already in your hands. You'll hear people say they're not lucky, or they didn't get the right start, but that's not the point. The point is, what are you doing with what you have? Are you using your time wisely? Are you learning from your mistakes? Are you getting better every day? Or just getting better at explaining why you're not moving forward? Responsibility means saying, whatever happens, I'm the one who has to figure it out. That's strength. That's control. That's where progress begins. Once you stop making excuses, your energy changes. You move differently. You stop needing sympathy and start demanding results from yourself. You don't tolerate laziness in your thinking. You don't wait for motivation. You become your own reason to improve. You see your life as something you're building, not something you're watching happen. And that shift, even if small at first, changes everything. People might not understand your mindset. They might still be blaming everything but themselves. Let them. You're not in competition with them. You're competing with your own past. You're challenging your own patterns. You're rewriting your own story. That takes effort. Most people avoid. That takes ownership most people never practice. But once you start, you won't want to go back. You'll realize that responsibility, while hard, gives you power that excuses can never match. This is your life, your path, your time. The moment you eliminate the reasons and start taking full charge, you become dangerous. You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for the right moment. You take action because it's the only thing that moves you forward. And when you live this way, eyes open, heart in it, mind focused, you no longer need to be pushed. You're driven from within. Number 8. Keep your space clean and organized every day. Your environment directly influences your mindset and productivity. When your space is cluttered, your mind becomes cluttered. You don't realize it, but disorder creates a hidden tension. It drains your energy and slows your focus. To become unrecognizable in just 1 week, cleaning and organizing your space daily is essential. This is not about being perfect or obsessive. It's about creating a setting where you can think clearly and act decisively. A clean environment becomes a foundation for clear thinking and disciplined action. Starting your day in a tidy space sets a tone that ripples through everything you do. You don't waste time looking for things or getting distracted by mess. When everything has a place and is in its place, your brain can focus on what really matters. It's not just physical, it's mental. A well-organized space tells your mind that you're serious, that you respect your goals, that you won't accept chaos, either outside or inside yourself. This habit isn't a one-time effort. It's daily. Every morning or every evening, you take responsibility for your surroundings. You put away what you used, you clear the surfaces, you arrange things neatly, you throw out what you don't need. That daily practice trains you to be consistent and attentive. It makes you aware of the details that often go unnoticed, but matter greatly in your life. When you do this regularly, the task gets easier and the benefits multiply. Clutter isn't just about mess. It's a distraction that steals your time and focus. It creates a subconscious weight that wears down your motivation. When you enter a messy room, your brain immediately goes into problem-solving mode. Where's that paper? Where's my charger? What do I need to clean first? Instead of thinking about your goals, your brain is busy with trivial issues. This is energy wasted. But when your space is clean, your brain is free to concentrate on growth and action. An organized space also builds respect for yourself and your work. It signals discipline. It says you value your time and your efforts. When you see order around you, it becomes easier to hold yourself accountable. You start treating your tasks with the same level of care. You don't allow distractions to take over, because your environment is already structured for success. Your space becomes a silent partner in your transformation. You might think cleaning and organizing is too small to make a difference. But small actions create momentum. And momentum is what drives change. Daily order leads to daily progress. It reduces friction. It prevents overwhelm. You'll notice how simple it is to focus. When your desk isn't piled with papers, or your room isn't littered with random things. The clarity you get from a clean space translates directly into clarity in your decisions and actions. Take control over the items around you. Keep only what you need and use. Everything else distracts you. Create systems that work for you. Boxes, shelves, folders. Label if necessary. Make it easy to put things back. Make it automatic. The less time you spend managing your environment, the more time you have to improve yourself. When organization becomes effortless, it's because you've set a new standard. This habit also affects your energy levels. A cluttered space can feel heavy, suffocating. A clean space feels fresh and inviting. It creates a positive atmosphere that encourages productivity and creativity. You breathe easier. You move easier. Your mind feels lighter. When your environment supports your goals, your entire outlook shifts. You become more motivated to keep pushing, to keep improving, to keep showing up at a higher level. When you keep your space organized daily, you avoid the avalanche of buildup. You prevent the stress that comes when clutter overwhelms you. You stop procrastinating because you know your environment is ready for action. This readiness makes you proactive. You don't wait for the perfect moment or clean room to start working. You maintain the space so you can start anytime. That readiness creates confidence and speed. People around you will notice the difference too. They see someone who is intentional and capable, someone who doesn't tolerate chaos, someone who respects themselves and their goals. That impression opens doors. It creates opportunities. It builds trust. Because when your environment is clean, it reflects how you manage your life. It speaks volumes without saying a word. Keeping your space clean daily also develops habits beyond tidying. It sharpens your attention to detail. It enhances your ability to maintain order in other areas. Your schedule, your relationships, your work. It teaches you patience and care. These qualities are transferable. The discipline you build in small, everyday actions fuels your ability to tackle bigger challenges with confidence. Start with one area: your desk, your bedroom, your workstation. Spend a few minutes organizing. Remove what's unnecessary. Arrange what remains thoughtfully. Do this every day and build it into your routine. As it becomes a habit, expand it. Tidy other spaces. Refine systems. Keep improving. The goal is not perfection, but progress. Progress in how you manage your environment, and by extension, your life. This is about respect for your future self. When you keep your space organized, you're giving yourself a gift. You're making it easier to focus, create, and succeed tomorrow. You're reducing friction and stress before it even starts. You're building a space where great work happens, a space that supports the version of you you want to become. Every item in your space should either serve a purpose or inspire you. Anything else is a distraction. That's why you eliminate clutter. That's why you organize. You're creating an environment that fuels your growth instead of holding you back. This environment becomes a foundation, something solid beneath your feet. As you climb higher, you'll find that keeping your space clean and organized every day is more than just a chore. It's a practice that trains your mind and habits. It teaches you consistency. It trains your discipline. It reminds you to respect your time and energy. It creates a rhythm that supports your goal. And that rhythm is key to becoming unrecognizable, not just in your surroundings, but in who you are and how you live. Number 9, speak only when necessary and listen with full focus. The power of your words is often underestimated. Speaking less, but with purpose, can change how people see you, how they listen to you, and how you control your energy. When you speak only when necessary, your words carry weight. They are not wasted on noise or filler. You become intentional with your communication, and that intention commands respect. Silence is not weakness. It's strength. It's a choice to use your voice wisely, rather than constantly. This simple habit shifts your presence and sharpens your influence. Listening fully is just as important, if not more. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, very few truly listen. When you listen with full focus, you understand more than just words. You pick up on tone, emotion, and the meaning behind what's being said. This kind of listening builds connection, trust, and insight. It gives you an edge because you're absorbing information that others miss. You're learning from every conversation, not just waiting to reply. Speaking less means you pause before you speak. You think about what you want to say and why. Are your words necessary? Are they helpful? Are they true? If not, keep quiet. This discipline prevents misunderstandings, reduces conflict, and keeps your energy clear. When you choose silence over unnecessary talk, you create space for better thoughts and clearer focus. You conserve energy that others waste on chatter. Listening fully requires you to put aside distraction. Means making eye contact, nodding to show understanding, and refraining from interrupting. When you listen well, people feel valued. They open up more. They share insights they might not otherwise. You learn about needs, desires, problems, and solutions. This information is powerful. It shapes your decisions and actions in ways that talking cannot. In daily life, this habit sharpens your attention. You become more present. You're less scattered. Your mind stops racing ahead or jumping to conclusions. Instead, you're grounded in the moment. This presence helps you respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. You avoid unnecessary arguments and misunderstandings. You speak with clarity and confidence because you've already understood the full picture. When you speak only when necessary, your words stand out. People listen because they know what you say matters. Your voice becomes a tool, not noise. You avoid repeating yourself or wasting breath. This habit creates respect. It builds influence. People remember what you say not because you talk a lot, but because you say important things well. It also creates an aura of calm and control around you, which draws people in. Listening fully also makes you a better learner. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to grow. You pick up new ideas, perspectives, and information that you wouldn't get otherwise. You can solve problems faster because you've gathered all the facts and feelings involved. Your decisions become smarter. Your relationships become stronger. You become the person others turn to for advice and insight. In social and professional settings, this habit helps you avoid misunderstandings and miscommunication. When you speak only when necessary and listen carefully, you reduce mistakes caused by assumptions or incomplete information. You become a problem solver, not a problem creator. You stay calm under pressure because you've truly heard what's going on before responding. This makes you trustworthy and dependable. This habit also protects your energy. Talking too much can drain you, especially when conversations aren't meaningful. Listening instead keeps you engaged without exhausting you. It also shows humility, the willingness to learn and understand before speaking. That humility invites respect and cooperation from others. It makes your interactions smoother and more productive. Developing this habit means becoming aware of your impulse to speak. Notice when you're about to interrupt or fill silence. Pause, breathe. Ask yourself if what you're about to say adds value. If it doesn't, wait. Practice patience in conversation. This self-control grows over time and becomes second nature. It changes how you show up every day. Listening fully means you focus not only on words, but also on body language, facial expressions, and tone. These nonverbal cues reveal feelings and attitudes that words may hide. When you pick up on these signals, you respond more effectively. You address unspoken concerns and build deeper connections. This makes you emotionally intelligent and socially skilled. When people feel truly heard, they feel respected. That respect opens doors. It builds rapport quickly. It makes collaboration easier. It creates a positive environment where ideas flow and problems get solved. Being known as a good listener and careful speaker increases your influence in every area of life. You become someone people want to be around and work with. To practice this habit, start with small steps. In your next conversation, resist the urge to interrupt. Listen fully before responding. Notice how it changes the flow. Observe how people react to your focused attention. Over time, increase your awareness of when to speak and when to hold back. Learn to enjoy silence. See it as a powerful tool, not something to be feared. When you speak with intention and listen with attention, you communicate with respect and clarity. You reduce confusion and conflict. You create space for understanding and connection. This changes the quality of your relationships and the results you get. It shapes your reputation as someone thoughtful and reliable. This habit strengthens your emotional control. It helps you manage frustration and impatience. Because you're practicing restraint, it helps you avoid saying things you'll regret. It helps you respond instead of react. This control builds confidence because you're not tossed around by every emotion or impulse. You're steady and deliberate. Speaking only when necessary and listening fully builds mental clarity. It allows your mind to process information deeply. It prevents mental clutter from unnecessary noise. This clarity improves decision-making and creativity. It supports your growth because you're absorbing more useful information and wasting less energy on trivial talk. This habit makes you more strategic in your communication. You learn when silence can be more powerful than words. You understand the value of timing and tone. You become skilled at expressing yourself clearly and briefly. You avoid misunderstandings because you think before you speak and listen before you judge. This practice will change how you interact in every area of life: personal, professional, social. It will increase your influence, your understanding, and your presence. It will allow you to show up as a calm, focused, and powerful individual who knows when to speak and when to listen. This balance is a mark of maturity and strength. It helps you become unrecognizable in the best way, in just 1 week. Number 10. Reflect on your progress before going to sleep. Every night before you close your eyes, take a moment to look back on the day you just lived. Reflection is one of the most powerful tools for change because it forces you to pause, observe, and understand what actually happened. It allows you to recognize where you moved closer to your goals and where you stumbled. This honest look at your progress doesn't judge or criticize. It informs. It helps you learn from your actions and decisions so that you can adjust and improve tomorrow. Reflection requires quiet. It asks you to slow down and turn inward. Instead of rushing to sleep or distracting yourself with screens, you create a space for awareness. You ask yourself, what did I do well today? What challenges did I face? What choices made a difference? What distractions pulled me away? This self-check is not about blame. It's about clarity. Clarity that reveals how your habits, thoughts, and actions shape your reality. When you reflect consistently, you build a feedback loop. You become your own coach, your own guide. You start to see patterns, good ones and bad ones. You notice which behaviors lead to progress and which ones lead to delay. You catch yourself falling into old routines before they fully take hold. This kind of awareness is the foundation of growth. You can't fix what you don't see. Reflection helps you see clearly. This habit also builds gratitude. As you review your day, you recognize the wins, no matter how small. Maybe you stuck to your plan. Maybe you resisted a temptation. Maybe you took a small step forward. Celebrating these moments fuels motivation and confidence. It reminds you that progress isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, consistent effort that leads to transformation. Reflection before sleep also prepares your mind for rest and focus. When your day ends with awareness, your brain processes experiences differently. It releases unnecessary tension and reinforces positive actions. Instead of going to bed with a noisy mind full of regrets or distractions, you enter a calmer state. This calmness improves your sleep quality and your ability to wake up refreshed and ready. Many people rush through their evenings without pausing. They replay mistakes or worry about the next day. That restlessness blocks growth and drains energy. Reflection gives you control over your thoughts. It trains your mind to focus on what matters instead of what distracts. This control becomes stronger with daily practice. You learn to quiet the noise and tune into your true progress. Reflection also creates accountability. When you review your actions, you can't pretend things are different from reality. You see exactly where you followed through and where you didn't. This honest look pushes you to be better without outside pressure. You hold yourself to a higher standard because you respect your own journey. This internal accountability is more powerful than any external force. During reflection, ask yourself questions that dig deep. What lessons did today teach me? What obstacles did I overcome? How did I handle challenges? What can I do differently tomorrow? These questions shift your mindset from victim to creator. They focus your attention on solutions instead of problems. This focus is essential for becoming unrecognizable in a short time, because it turns daily experience into daily learning. Reflection also builds resilience. When you face setbacks, this habit helps you see them as temporary and manageable. You understand that failure is part of progress, not a stopping point. You gain perspective. You learn to separate your identity from your mistakes. This separation frees you to try again with new energy and insight. You stop fearing failure and start embracing growth. You don't need a lot of time for reflection. 5 or 10 focused minutes can make a huge difference. The key is consistency. Doing it every night creates a rhythm that your mind expects and prepares for. It becomes a mental habit that keeps you aligned with your goals. Over time, this practice rewires your thinking to prioritize progress and learning. Keeping a journal can help with reflection. Writing down your thoughts makes them clearer and more tangible. You create a record of your journey that you can look back on. This record shows how far you've come and where you need to go. It also helps you release negative thoughts by putting them on paper instead of carrying them in your mind. When you reflect on your progress before sleep, you build self-awareness. You start to understand your motivations, your fears, your strengths, and your weaknesses. This understanding is crucial because it guides your decisions and action. You become more intentional about how you spend your time and energy. You stop acting out of habit and start acting with purpose. Reflection transforms experience into wisdom. It bridges the gap between effort and results. Without reflection, actions can feel random or wasted. With reflection, every day becomes a stepping stone. You learn what works and what doesn't. You adjust quickly and move forward faster. This efficiency is what sets high achievers apart. As you practice reflection, you'll notice your confidence grow. You stop doubting yourself because you see the evidence of your progress. You feel more in control because you understand your journey. This confidence isn't loud or boastful. It's quiet strength that fuels persistence and courage. Reflection also improves your emotional intelligence. By reviewing your reactions and feelings throughout the day, you become better at managing your emotions. You recognize triggers and patterns. You develop empathy for yourself and others. This emotional awareness helps you stay calm and focused in difficult situations. When you make reflection a habit, it supports all other efforts you're making. It complements waking up early, exercising, learning, and goal setting. It ties everything together by providing insight and direction. This habit turns random actions into a strategic plan for transformation. Reflection is a tool anyone can use immediately. It costs nothing but your attention. It requires no special skills, only honesty. When you give yourself this daily moment, you step into the driver's seat of your life. You become aware of your choices, your progress, and your potential. This simple practice has the power to accelerate change dramatically. It keeps your mind focused on growth, your emotions balanced, and your actions aligned. Reflection before sleep is a habit that builds momentum, sharpens clarity, and fuels motivation. It's an essential step toward becoming unrecognizable in just 1 week.